Okay, so we have here temperature and energy lab. The main question about this lab is, are temperature and energy the same thing? We talked about temperature and the fact that things that are at higher temperatures have more motion of particles. The particles are moving around more. So does energy directly relate to that? Are they going to be the same thing or not? The setup here is pretty simple. The one thing that we really haven't used a lot yet is Logger Pro and the temperature probes. This is just a smoother, easier way to collect temperature data rather than using a thermometer. It does essentially the same thing. We just connect it to the computer. You'll also need a 250 milliliter beaker, a hot plate, and some ice. This is important. If you let the temperature probe cords touch the hot plate surface, it will melt. It's happened. Don't let it happen unless you want to purchase a temperature probe that doesn't work. So be careful of that. This is my warning. Okay, we're going to open Logger Pro on the computer, and we're going to make sure the temperature probe is connected. It should all be set up, but we're just going to double check the connections, and I'm going to actually show you what this is going to look like. When you open this, this is kind of what you should see. You should see something approximately like this. The temperature is shown down here. There's a graph, and it's pretty much ready to go. For you, you'll have to make a couple of changes because this isn't the default. The easiest way is to go up here, this thing that looks like a clock. It's data collection, and click on it. We're going to set the data collection. I think the default's like 180 seconds. That's not long enough to melt the ice. So we're going to set it to 30 minutes. And we're going to leave the sampling rate at 2 samples per minute. That's a sample every 30 seconds. It should give us a nice, smooth graph. So make sure that you have something that looks like this. When you're ready to start collecting data, all you have to do is click on the green button, and it'll go, and you're going to see data start to show up. Now, remember, it's collecting every 30 seconds, so it will be a little bit before the next data point pops up. That's fine. You don't have to hit stop. It will stop on its own at the end of 30 minutes. So basically, you're just going to let it run until it quits collecting data, and you're going to get a nice graph in here. Okay, you can see the line starting to show up, and it's going to just continue to trace all along. We're not going to let this thing run for 30 minutes because that's way too long of a video for you guys to watch. So you're going to go ahead and get this temperature probe in the ice and get it on a hot plate and start your collection. One thing you'll want to do is stir fairly regularly as it's heating, as the ice is melting, because you want that to mix up. You don't want it to have hot and cold areas. That's going to give you a weird graph. So just keep stirring as you heat the ice. Once all the ice is gone and it's just water, you can stop stirring. But otherwise, I just use the temperature probe to stir. That's the easiest way to do it, and you won't hurt anything by doing that. So this is going to continue to heat up. Eventually, our graph is going to stop. We're going to finish collecting data, and then we're going to be talking about the results. Make sure you kind of clean stuff up. Be careful, obviously, because things will be hot. And we'll go from there. So that's the temperature and energy lab.